All right, good morning. Welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. We are almost halfway through December. In terms of work what days, we're well through December. This week's code item of the week is to maintain confidentiality of insider information learned about ECI or about our clients, Ben Dow.
Yeah, um, we do have confidentiality agreements with some of, and probably everyone usually knows when we work on those jobs. But if it doesn't seem like you should be talking about it, keep it to yourself. Um, there are some things, especially if you get in the office and you're working on bids, that are. I think everyone can use their own judgment. If it doesn't seem like you should be telling certain information that you learn about our projects or things, just use your best judgment.
All right, thank you, Ben. We are finally getting these numbers up a little ways, and it's nice to see. We're 71 days without a recordable injury, 25 days without a first aid injury, and 10 days without a vehicle incident.
71, 25, and 10.
All right, so this week we're going to talk about ladder safety. I know we did probably 8 months ago or so. We've been seeing a lot of misuse of ladders in the last few weeks, though, so we wanted to talk about it. So whenever you're using any ladder, you always ensure the ladder is fully and properly set up, especially when it comes to extension ladders. Make sure those dogs are all the way out. Always keep your belly button inside the gauge of the ladder. Only use on even ground unless it's designed with levelers. Always face towards the ladder. That's one that we've been seeing quite a bit is people facing away from ladders while they're climbing up and down, which climbing up a ladder facing out is kind of awkward to watch anyway. So I think it's less work just to face towards the ladder. Maintain 3 points of contact at all times and always foot the ladder for each other unless the ladder's tied off to something. Before you throw a ladder, you want to look overhead for any hazards, especially electrical hazards. If you tangle up an aluminum ladder and a power line, you're going to know it, or you might not. Uh, you want to read all the labels. Just remember that those need to be intact. If you need replacement labels, just let us know. And you don't want to exceed any weight limits. We try to only get ladders with at least 300-pound limits on them. If you go to Home Depot or wherever and you need a ladder somewhere, just make sure that you're getting the heaviest one that you can get for that purpose that you need. Some of the smaller ones you can get 300 pounds is the highest, and then some of the longer ones you can get 350. You want to inspect the ladder for any damage, as chipped fiberglass, dry rot on the fiberglass, dinged up rungs, anything like that. If you find anything like that, just take it out of service. If you're in a bind, give us a call and we can try to get one out to you. Might not be possible, but we'd rather try to do some extra legwork to get somebody the right ladder that they need than have somebody climbing a ladder that's not safe. Here you can see some people that are clearly misusing ladders, except for the guy on the far right there that's got a leveling kit on it, so that way you can put it on uneven ground. So you always want to maintain 3 points of contact. So you either want 2 feet and one hand on there or 2 hands and 1 foot. Whenever you're putting a ladder up against a wall, you want to have it at an angle that's appropriate to climb. The best way to do that is to climb on the first rung, put your hands straight out in front of you, and if your back is straight up and down with the ground, that's the proper angle for the ladder. So you don't want to be these guys. You don't want to use the top step on any of the step ladders. It's not safe. And also, step ladders aren't meant to be leaned up against buildings. There are some exceptions, some like the Little Giants and stuff. They make ones that are intended to be leaned up against buildings or walls. But as a whole, don't do that practice. That's probably the biggest one that we see. And what happens a lot of times is that people don't have the right ladder and don't go get the right ladder. So suddenly they're leaning step ladders up against walls. When it comes to purchasing ladders, we can get the manhole, like the 8-foot manhole ladders, which is basically just half of a 16-foot ladder. They're cheaper than buying a step ladder of an 8-foot step ladder, and they're the proper ladder to use for an application like that. So if you need the right ladder, just ask. either the tool crib, or you can ask us and we can try to get one to you guys. And the other thing too is with the step ladder, you always want to make sure to fully extend it so those arms are locked in. If those aren't locked in, then it can collapse. And also don't walk around with ladders. And if I've been guilty of it in the past, but you don't want to wiggle your way around the room. You want to get down off the ladder, walk it over, and move it that way. With extension ladders, you want to ensure that the dogs are serviceable and in a locked position. Some of them are still plastic. We've been trying to phase those out to metal latches. You want to make sure the rope is the halyard, and you want to tie that to the base section of the ladder utilizing a clove hitch. If you don't know how to do one of those, just feel free to ask. Some of the ladders don't have halyards though, so just even if you take a ratchet strap or something and tie two of the rungs together, keep it from sliding if possible. You always want to extend 5 rungs past the top of any object you're climbing onto and ensure that the climbing angle is adequate. And like I said, if you stand on the bottom rung, put your hand straight out in front of you to a rung, and then you should have a straight back. You should be comfortable. With step ladders, you never want to climb past the advised last step. There'll generally be a sticker on it. Never walk the ladder, like I mentioned, and only use step ladders for their intended purpose, which is to stand on their own on level ground and for you to climb up to the ceiling or whatever. Then you get into your specialty ladders like Little Giant. There's another brand that we have kicking around that's totally escaping me at the moment. But you always want to ensure that all the pins are locked in place. That's one place that we get into trouble with them, is that you'll have a pin that's not all the way in, and then they can be unstable. You want to watch your fingers and toes while raising and lowering the ladder. That's one of the reasons why steel toes are always a good idea, is because sometimes they'll slide down on you and mash your foot while you're setting them up. Not that I've done that before. You want to never climb past the advised last step, and that's especially important with this because you might not have a shelf or something like that on top that you can't stand on. So always look for the sticker of the last step for the application you're using, and you always want to assess the ladder for the safest way to climb it. If you look at the one in the picture here, there's a side that's wider than the other. So if you're setting it up as an extension ladder, you'd probably take the wide side and put it on the ground and put the skinny side up to the roof. And if you're using it as a step ladder, you'd probably want to try to climb on the side that's wider so you have the wider base and it's not as tippy. And I think that as a whole, one of the places that we get into trouble is we have a bunch of ladders. We think that we're all set on ladders, and then we kind of get into a production mode, whether it's, a shutdown, a concrete pour, whatever it might be. And then it's like, oh, we're just going to make do with what we have, which is great. But if you have the ladders that you need beforehand and a couple extras, that's going to set you up for success. So that's all I have on ladders. Matt, do you have anything to add?
No, you kind of nailed it, Tom. Definitely, we see is step ladders used incorrectly quite a bit. So that's something that really we'll focus in on and try to start phasing out the ones that we really don't need and get more of those specialty ladders that are multi-purpose moving forward.
It's kind of an easy one to be cited on if you're improper use of ladders and things like that, right, Matt and Tom?
Yep. Oh, very much so. Yep.
Which
top 10 in the year, it's a top 10 most cited standard in the United States. Yep.
It's low hanging.
Like the little, yeah, and like the Little Giants that you can lean up against something, they're step ladders that you can lean up against something. They're only like $15 or $20 more than a traditional step ladder. So for the $15 or $20 more and they're a higher quality ladder, it's worth just doing most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep. They fold up nice and small, easy to store as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's amazing how long those get. I got one at home, and when you open it all out and spread it, it can be quite a nice alternative for one of those extension ladders. At least up to like 10, 12 feet.
You just want to make sure you're not wearing your moccasins when you go to set it up, because then you might drop it on your toe,
Yep.
Or so I hear,
That's happened to me at home.
Yep.
Yeah, same here.
That only usually happens to like safety guys. All right. Can you guys see my
We got it. Yep.
Okay. All right. Focus of the week, ladder safety. I got that right. Announcements. Okay, holiday schedule. So next Friday, a week from today, we're gonna have our annual Christmas party, holiday party, barbecue. Um, it's gonna be from 1 to 3. I expect a lot of people will be working in the morning, and we are gonna pay attendees, I think, up to 2.5 hours for the event. Um, we'll give you a little more details on that on next Friday, so you'll have good direction there. But I'll tell you a few more things about it a little further down about what we're going to do. But it's going to be over here at 99, right across from our offices here at 98. Of course, the people that are working on the event will get paid if they're working to support the event as well, whatever time they work. So the following week, Christmas Day, we're going to be closed. This is going to be a paid holiday, so you guys are all going to put in holiday, 8 hours of holiday for that day. Then Thursday the 26th and Friday the 27th, we're going to be closed both days, and we're going to pay you by way of ATO. And what we're going to do is we're going to give everyone, all active employees, 16 hours of ATO next week into their balance to be used on Thursday and Friday, which will give you all a paid 3-day holiday. So that's pretty cool. Wednesday the 1st, we're going to be closed, and we'll give you some more details on that. Thought on that next week. There's going to be a lot of people off that week, but we will definitely be closed, and the 1st will be a holiday. Does that make sense, you guys? Matt, Tom, for the holiday and the ATO?
Very generous. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been a long year. It's kind of odd with Christmas being in the middle of the week, so we want everybody to have some time off. So, as most of you probably hopefully already know, that we're doing the annual giving campaign right now, being led by Sarah. And we've also got Ronnie Johnston and Matt Saganowitz and myself assisting on that. This year, I put the flyer that Sarah made for us up here on our email. So we're going to be splitting 4 ways again. Classic Mike Lawyer, who does a lot for everyone, including a lot of construction-related issues. The Vermont National Guard Charitable Foundation, which supports the families of the guardsmen and other needs that the guardsmen themselves have. We've got Camp Tecumseh, which everyone knows what they do for the kids. And we got Make-A-Wish Vermont also for the kids. And so I like the fact that we've got a couple of 50% of our donations are going solely to kids at Christmas, which I think Sarah will agree. So Sarah, Matt Saganowitz, Ron Johnson, and myself are on the committee. Our goal this year is $30,000 to be split 4 ways. I think we're upwards of $16,000 right now. So that's pretty cool. We're more than halfway there to our donation, and it's a really, really cool thing to do at the end of the year. And what we'll do is, I don't know when we're going to actually, we'll announce where we're at the Christmas party, but we might give everybody the opportunity to, get through maybe even to New Year's before we announce the final amount. And then we'll coordinate getting people on from representatives of the different charities on this meeting in following meetings in 2025. So let Sarah know if you haven't, or if you'd like to donate and you haven't contacted her yet, let us know. Anyone on the committee. I'd really like to have everyone consider that if you can contribute as liberally as you can without inconvenience to yourself, that you do that just for the feeling of giving, even if it's a couple of dollars. Anything's going to be make you feel good to donate to these charities. So here comes some good news. Some good news back to you. I'm asking you to donate, but I've got some other news here. that's gonna go in your pocket. Everyone who enrolled in the 2025 benefits, which is virtually almost everyone by the deadline, is gonna be entered in a raffle um, to win a $250 gift card. So everyone that which is, I think, pretty much everybody is going to be in that raffle, and we're going to draw that at the party. So that's going to be a $250 gift card raffle for everyone that signed up for their benefits or made their selections. So I've got an update for one of the other raffles. Everyone who participated in our preventative care program, which is you must have had some type of a physical exam from either your provider or Champlain Medical in the calendar year of 2024. I think they have a really good accounting of all those people. Every single one of those people is going to get an $85 gift card this year. We'll pass them out or get them to you at the Christmas party, and if you're not at the party, we'll end up mailing them. Plus, all those people are going to be entered into a raffle for 6 different cards. One of them is $250, and then there's 5 $50 cards. So we're going to draw names. We're going to draw 6 names, and we're going to have 1 $250 gift card and 5 $50 cards. We're going to do that at the event too. So if anyone hasn't gotten to Gina and given their, I think she's got most everybody that is participating with some type of a notification or proof that they did the wellness this year, that would be great. And it doesn't have to be through our program. It could be through your own provider. I also keep the links up here for the primary wellness program summary so you can read about it. And also I've seen quite a few clicks on the Invest EAP and the assistance for you or your family. Anyone in your household can utilize our employee assistance program, which I found out also includes some legal advice. It's up to a couple hours of actual legal advice, which is kind of cool. We have a new employee, Tyrell Fukel. He started this week. He's a railroad track worker. Went through orientation. I think it was on Monday, wasn't it, Matt?
Yep.
And I know, Eric, you're here. Eric, you here? Because Charlie already came to see me. Eric, welcome.
I'm here.
I'm going to drive for you. The project of the week we have this week is the Route 2A Williston culvert, which we did right over here. I did add some comments, but they didn't appear. I added some more comments under some of the photos for you, but then they didn't come out when I sent it. So I'm sorry about that. But we have something that Eric prepared, and he's gonna go through it, and then we've got a series of pictures where he'll kind of walk us through some of the challenges of the project. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
and
let me know
if
if you want
you-
me to advance.
If you want to go ahead and say what you wrote down that didn't make it while I'm talking, go ahead.
I can, or I'll just let you do it.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
ECI was contracted by Vermont Institute of Transportation to replace an existing 108-foot long 48-inch CMP with a new 48-inch CMP under Vermont Route 2A in front of the old Vermont State Police Barracks. The new pipe was installed in the same alignment and to the same grade as the existing pipe. An existing head wall and 8-foot ID catch basin were also replaced as part of the project. The existing pipe was 22.4 feet deep at its deepest point, and the shallowest it was 14 feet deep. So that's a picture of the plan. You can see the 8-foot basin at the bottom of the drawing. Head wall down the bank at the top of the drawing. The 8-foot structure received a 24-inch HDPE pipe from the northeast and an 18-inch pipe from the south.
Yep.
And because of that, before we could start the culvert replacement, we had to bypass the stormwater. And the bypass initially consisted of plugging the 48-inch CMP and dewatering out of the existing catch basin and into an 8-inch HDPE pipe that was installed by directional drill under Route 2A. And as we progressed with the new pipe, we had to move the bypass, pumping out of the existing catch basin and into the catch basins upstream on the 18 and 24-inch pipe. The existing pedestrian path was also temporarily relocated so that pedestrian traffic could be maintained during construction.
14th edition?
So there were
I don't
some
remember what
major
edition you have.
limitations in our ability
Yeah, my
to
tab's
construct
better.
this project. And
Yep.
then that's talking.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
I got them for you. Just not me.
There were major limitations in our ability to construct this project, and these were known going into it. So work in the roadway could only happen between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. When the road reopened at 6 a.m., it needed to be paved. We had to maintain two-way traffic. It was very limited access, and there was existing water, sewer, and gas lines. We were able to acquire an area of the parking lot next to REI on the west side of the project and a portion of the old state police barracks parking lot as staging areas. We began replacement of the outlet end of the culvert. At the outlet end of the culvert, the existing head wall was removed and the new head wall was constructed, excuse me.
So
Wanna-
deep nighttime work with a limited, having the road all open and paved by like
So
6 a.m., right?
yeah, and so being as deep as we were, to have to excavate for a piece of pipe, put a pipe in, and then backfill it was not all going to happen in one night. So, this first picture is us removing the guardrail. And after we remove the guardrail, if you want to keep scrolling down through, Ben,
Yep.
there's a lot of pictures. So,
Yep.
every night when we started, we had to remove Jersey barriers, and every morning when we were done, we had to put the Jersey barriers back up. So really, in essence, by the time we got done putting our traffic control up and taking lanes and getting ready for work, we weren't starting work till 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then we had to, about 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, we had to have everything back together so that we could have the pavers in to pave and have the road back open to 6 a.m. So our work window wasn't really 10 hours. It was more like 8, 7.5. So, so these first pictures are just some pictures of us prepping for the head wall installation.
That's down over the bank, and that's like the REI building, I think, right there. Right?
Yep. There's the old head wall that we had to hammer out.
Out the old head wall.
Taking out that first bit of existing pipe was Rob in the 380.
Yep.
The box. So the boxes that we use on this project were 8 foot, 24 foot long.
With big spreaders.
So that's, yeah. And actually we used, I don't know, Tom, how tall were those step ladders we used to put those boxes together?
Those
There's
were
one
what,
right now.
16-foot step ladders or something?
Yeah, those are tall. Anyways, there's the box in place, and we're prepped for the head wall, and we were in a swamp, so everything was wet. There's Nate and the concrete crew. He's doing some layout, and they're forming up or beginning to form up the head wall. is it just a picture standing at the top, looking down.
So that's the head wall right there in the forms, right? Yeah.
Yep, yep. And these next couple pictures are, you know,
Got a spread footer under it, and that also had a hole in it for the pipe that you
Yeah.
put in under.
lots of rebar.
Lots of rebar, coated.
And so we tried to do as much work during the day as we could. So we were able to do this head wall form and pour during the day. And since we had got that staging area over at REI, Ireland, this is their biggest pumper truck. We were able to just barely reach to
Wow.
get the head wall formed. So that's a pretty good picture from that side. And then I took another picture here from the other side. So it's
Holy cow. It's this guy. Wait a minute.
apparently Todd he found a scooter from Walmart, and assuming he's just going to return that for us.
I don't know how that picture got in there. I tried to take it out, but it keeps going back in. Sorry.
See, there was a wet cure, so Nathan came up with this system for our wet cure, which worked really well.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So after the wet cure, we began installing the 48-inch CMP. Because of the depths, stack boxes would be required. We would also be encountering the existing 10-inch sewer main and 4-inch gas main on the second stick of pipe. It was our plan to keep these in service while we installed the pipe.
And there's the head wall with a hole in it, I see, for the pipe, to receive the pipe.
Yep, so pulling the box, we can see that we already prepped where we have to put the box in the pipe alignment. So here the box is in. We're setting that first stick of pipe. And since this pipe was at a 8.4% slope, so we needed to trim the culvert.
Oh.
So it was
To miter it a little bit.
flush with the head wall face. This was the cap that we fabricated to help us with our backfilling, so that we would be able to backfill over or closer to the end of the pipe.
And then dig it back up without wrecking it, right? Pretty cool.
So here, once we got that first stick in, and as we were digging for the next stick, we were obviously into the existing sewer and gas. So there it is, it's exposed and supported.
Sewer and gas.
Here we are.
Ha! Just putting one box on one side and one on the other.
Right, so it was right, so this is actually looking south. And if you actually go back up, Ben.
Fantastic.
So once we ended up not being able to keep the pipe. We ran into some rubble under as we were digging, excavating, that was in the shoulder. So we couldn't get the next box down. We didn't feel comfortable doing that because it was within inches of the sewer. So we made a decision that we needed to bypass, or we needed to move the sewer, which if you go down to the next picture. So now we've moved the sewer. I think actually one below is a little bit better. We've moved the sewer, so it's now in alignment. You can see we 90'd over and 90 back. So it's in alignment and closer to the gas so that we can get those boxes together, because safety was a huge issue on this job, right? So we needed to make sure everybody was safe. So when we went, after that was moved over, we went to dig the box down and we ran into all this rubble over the next pipe.
So that's all the rubble right ab- and then down in the bottom is the old existing
Yeah.
pipe that you're, holy cow.
And so it was at that point that there was no way we were comfortable putting a box down, trying to get a box down through there with keeping that main active. So we made the decision to bypass the gas and the sewer, which the constructability review that the state did on this job, they said that
Morning.
we would be able to do all this work without having to
Good, how are
bypass
you?
any of those mains. So, as it turns out, we couldn't. So anyways, we set up in this manhole here in the Fairfield Inn. I think it's the Fairfield Inn
Yep.
Hotel, right next to the JL Davis building. And the drilling crew came in and they busted out 2 4-inch lines in the afternoon on this day, and then they finished it up in the morning. They worked late in the night and then finished it up in the morning the next day. And the next picture down,
Yep. So you laid these pipes right across that driveway and ramped over them.
paved right over it. Yep.
Couple cars bottomed out, but it was okay.
It was a little, there might have been a little bit of time when they were paving and nobody can get in and out of the hotel, but that's all right. Here's a picture of the bypass pumps. We had a redundant system. We set them up with floats in that manhole, and that was in place for a week and a half. The next day, Vermont Gas came in, and as you can see, here's the gas main is a smaller pipe that loops down around the head wall, and then there's a 2 4-inch. So now we're all set. We can go into the road. The other thing that's happening in the background when all this is happening is we're trying to negotiate with the state how we're going to maintain 2-way traffic, because there's no way we can maintain 2-way traffic with a 380 excavator in a road and 24-foot boxes. It's just not going to be able to do it. So
this photo is kind of cool because it shows kind of everything. You got your pipe started in the head wall, and then you've got your 2 8-foot high trench boxes embedded, heading towards the road cut where the Georgia barriers are way up above, right? Yep.
Picture, everything is bypassed, and we're able to get our boxes down in there, get them together, make everything safe. Adam Piper and I met with Josh Hewlett on Monday because Randy Piper had been talking to Josh about, being able to use, because of the limitation in the time, there's really no way to come up with lifts, 1-foot lifts in compaction. I mean, you can see the depths here. So we had come up with a plan to do an open cut, go down to 1 lane, do a 5 p.m. Sunday to a 7 a.m. Monday close of the road. Well, not close of the road, but just 1 lane, and put in 2 sticks of pipe, which would be 40 feet, and then backfill it with stone, get it open so that way we would always be able to maintain the 2-way traffic that was required. So we spent all week preparing for that, and then we built a temporary road on the old state police barracks side, and then on a Thursday afternoon we got a call from Mr. Hewlett and Kara, and they basically said, nope, not going to do it. You can't do it. They weren't comfortable with using stone for backfill. So we basically lost a whole weeks and a half worth of work with that one decision. But once that decision was made, one thing that we did gain was that we could use stone around the pipe instead of granular backfill, but it had to be wrapped, and that we were allowed to go down to 1 lane of traffic. So all that done, all those decisions made, we were able to proceed across the road. So these next pictures are just, how we went across the road. As you can see, it's deep. And then the first stick of pipe that we put in, the boxes, as you can see, they're out of alignment, but there was a huge boulder in the bank that we could, so that first set of boxes was offline. We were able to get it back online in the second set. And here you go, we got to wrap everything. We got to wrap that stone under the pipe and around it 100%.
And underneath, huh? Wow.
Here's Tyler.
He's down there back. All right.
So
we're gonna
here's-
explain this one. I had an explanation on this one but it disappeared. So this is the one where Randy is standing on is you have the boxes covered, right? With plates or
Yep.
another panel. And that's how you backfilled it at night or in the,
Yep.
for the day.
Yep.
That's 20 some odd feet down to the invert of the pipe that's under it,
Right.
under his feet.
Right. So traffic. So if you continue, so this was what we did every day or every morning. Put the plates, the trench box plates over the top of the boxes, covered it,
Gravel
gravelled it, paved it.
for the paving guys. They
Yep.
would show up and it looks like they're there and very early.
Everybody's working, putting Jersey barriers back together, trying to get the road back open, and there it is.
And next night is repeat.
And repeat. And there's a picture of the temporary road that we put in.
Yeah.
That
So
we could get
basically,
traffic
they wanted the road back open, uninhibited during the day.
paved, even though I believe it was 15. Weren't they running on gravel most of the summer?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that, oh my gosh, that's pretty deep. That's when you're heading
Yes.
across towards the yellow line right there.
Yeah, and that's the 380, and there we're not even down to the bottom yet. Because that box still needs to go down.
Look at the little guy down there.
So when we came out into the road, we had 8 boxes total. So we had stacked 24-foot boxes. So there was 4, and then we needed another 4 boxes not put together because we used the plates to cover everything to back so that we could get traffic going in the morning. And traffic was the general public doesn't know this, but they were running over, a 20-foot deep trench with a pipe in it. And one thing that they were able to do, this picture, go back up a little bit, Ben. In order to protect the pipe, so that we could get the length backfilled so that we could pull a box, we used fabric and wrapped it back and backfilled over it to hold the backfill back, along with our cap that we used.
There's the long reach.
And the other thing is, when you're 20 feet deep with a 24-foot box, we don't have an excavator that can reach to the end of the box. So we had to get the long reach excavator so that we could clean that end of the pipe so that we can install another piece of pipe. And here's, the story for that job was digging up pavement that we already put down the next night to continue the work. And here we're across the road. And actually, I just wanted to share one picture that I didn't get on there to everybody of, can you see that?
Yep.
So this is when we're in the middle of the road and we have 48 feet of boxes in. This is a picture of the trench box shields that we use over the top of the pipe or the top of the boxes
Holy cow.
so that we could backfill over it.
Jeez.
Okay.
I'll keep them moving for you.
And so here, we're at the other end of or we're on the east side of the road where we run into a water line that we had previously done an excavation to locate it and identify the elevation.
There's your water line, and there's your pipe coming under.
Again, put the pipe
Yeah.
in, backfill it, because we can't get it all done in one night. Next
Get back
night,
up.
come back, re-excavate,
Take it all back out again.
dig it all back out again so that we can put the catch basin in. There's your crane. There's the box that we set with the 12-foot spreaders.
Box in place. There's your structure.
Yep. Structure in. You can see Nate and that's Tyler down there mortaring up the over.
Wow. You made it.
Made it. We generally made it. There was only a few days that we weren't back open by 6. One of those we didn't get back open until 7:30 because the plant, the guy that was running the plant for Wickham decided he
Not to
slept
get
in or whatever, but he didn't come in when he was supposed to. So we were all sitting there with our hands on our butts waiting for him to get in. The final portion of the project, well, almost the final portion was, you can see in this drawing, we needed to do a 50-foot wide box cut centered on the new pipe,
Yep.
4 foot deep.
And then you had to taper all the pavement.
Yep. Well,
Right.
that's going to be done in the spring, that
Okay.
part. But here's a picture of which we did it half. We did it half of the road at a time. So. And there's just some cleanup pictures here.
Clean up the banks.
Yep.
Jersey barriers back up. Track it.
Tracking the slope. We needed to get the track marks in there. And just some final pictures.
We all know where this is now. Then some final restoration. Doesn't even look like we were there.
So, yeah, in the spring, we have to go do our milling and paving. It's a 250-foot long detail.
Cool.
So, you know, this was a multiple division job for us. You know, we had the concrete, we had civil, we had drilling, we had paving. It was a bear of a job. You know, all that work that you saw there, it took us basically a month to get that pipe in. So,
Yep. And support from all directions.
Yep.
Thanks, Eric.
Yep. You're welcome.
Back in the old days, we used to have in-person safety meetings. I found one from 2009. So Mike Drescher's there on the left. He's not with us anymore. He passed away. Myself, and then Todd Cody and younger Mr. Burns. He looks happy.
Looks like Harvey Bushy. Looks like Charlie Sucher and maybe even Izzy Marino too, doesn't it, Mr. Dow?
Izzy's right here. Yep. Yeah, there's Harvey.
Isn't that Izzy on the left, and then that's just Charlie on the other side of you?
Yep. We all used to meet in person.
I'd be halfway down the stairs outside of where my office is, so
Yep.
I never actually got to see the screen.
Yep. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, we ended up taking that half wall down.
Yep, that's where that's the old entry to what was Morning Pigeon's office right there, I think, on that end. Or Alan's office. No, that's Alan's office with the wood. Yep. All right, I'll turn it back over to the safety guys.
All right, have a great day. Have a safe day. Good luck if you're muzzleloading this weekend. Please send over attendance if you watch in a group setting, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, and thanks again, Eric.